Hello everyone, thanks for watching again, as this means that you've been working on your case, so well done. And let me help you in this video to have a critical look at it, to see where you can make your application of the goals and criteria even more practical and useful for you. Now, given what I've seen in practice, there are a few very common pitfalls. If you know them, you will recognize them very quickly. And avoiding them will make your analytical work so much more practical. I have two main pitfalls for you in applying the methodology of goals and criteria. And I also have one experience in the process with other people that I think is worthwhile sharing with you. Okay, let's start. The main pitfall I see is that people very quickly put solutions in the goal hierarchy. It is almost unavoidable that the moment you ask someone what a certain goal means, they answer by how they think that goal should be reached. So, for instance, if there is a goal in the hierarchy that says more environmental friendly energy, and you ask what that is, people very often come up with more windmills or more photovoltaic cells. These things look like goals, but actually they are solutions. The moment you implement these solutions, you will get closer to your goal of environmental friendly energy. So the relation is causal. If you build more windmills, this leads to more environmental friendly energy. And that is not the point here. You want to get criteria so you can compare all the solutions you have to get that environmental energy. And one of these solutions is constructing windmills. Another is installing photovoltaic cells, and a third is using biofuels and so on. Now, if these are solutions, then what would be a good sub-goal in this case? Well, just think about what I said about asking the why question if someone mentions a solution. If you ask why windmills, people might say, because that gives electricity without CO2 emissions. And bingo, that's what you need. The effect of the solution. You can measure to what extent the solution, in this case windmills, contributes to the goal of more environmental energy by measuring the amount of CO2 it produces. So that is the trick. The moment you see a causal relation in your hierarchy, there is a sub-goal that looks like a solution and actually is a way to reach the higher goal. Ask your stakeholder the why question. Why do you want this solution? And from the answer, you can further derive the sub-goals and the criteria. Okay, the second pitfall. This is a much easier one. In the beginning of constructing a goal hierarchy, a lot of people force their stakeholders a bit too much with the why question. If you keep on asking it for too long, you end up with very general goals, such as a better world or very rich. Both don't help you. The main goal, a better world, leads to a very large amount of criteria that are not related to the solutions you want to compare. And the very rich main goal already is its own criterion that you can measure, so that does not help in comparing solutions very much. The trick here is to balance between someone's function and his main goal. What I mean here is that it does not make sense very much to ask a professional driver why he likes good transport. That is his main goal. You can stop asking why here. Just as it does not make sense to ask a production line manager why she likes a good production process. And as we've discussed already in the introduction video, it also does not make too much sense to ask a green politician why she likes sustainable energy. And then my last point, which is more of an observation in the process. We already discussed that a lot of people tend to think in terms of solutions the moment they encounter a problem. What we are doing here is trying to push solutions away and first analyze what the problem is, so in the end we can compare many different solutions. This increases the chance that we find a good solution that is supported by the stakeholders. Anyway, be aware that the people you work with during the analysis are not analysts and have solutions in their mind that they want to see implemented. So remarks like, when do we finally get started with doing the real work, are pretty common. And don't take it personal. Just tell them you collect all options as to avoid that we start implementing a good solution but for a different problem. Especially very experienced people tend to have developed a tunnel vision on how problems should be solved. Okay, that's it for this week. Thanks so much for watching. Keep up the good work and we see each other in the next video.